Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of April 16, 2017. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. And welcome to Venus Direct. Yes, I'm so happy to report that Venus is now moving forward right out of the gate as we start this week. Since late January, we have been in the midst of Venus retrograde season. And since the very beginning of March, we have had Venus going retro. This has represented a time of heightened love lessons that have to do with self-love, self-value, of course, prosperity being part of that, and of course, romantic love being a huge lesson for a lot of us out there. And the role that romantic love plays, our own perception that romantic love has in life. Well, this particular Venus retrograde had a lot of vulnerability associated with it as well. A key signature was the meeting of Venus and Chiron, which is happening right now and took place right when Venus entered shadow back in late January. Well, now as Venus meets Chiron in the sky and moves forward, also holding a conversation with Saturn that is going to reach its last exact moment as we get to the end of this week. This is going to represent a time and continues to represent a time when we are asked to be deeply honest with ourselves where it comes to matters of heart, matters of love, matters of how we really feel about ourselves, how much we truly value ourselves, how we feel about our ability to attract what we truly desire into our lives, whether it has to do with love or prosperity. And for a lot of us, it has to do with at least one key situation that is near and dear to our hearts, very likely with one key person. For all of us in at least one area of life, we are being asked to look at, do we truly love this person? Do we truly love it? And if we don't, to be willing to be honest about it. That is the challenge this time with this particular Venus retrograde season. With Venus meeting Chiron, the truth of whether or not we truly do love him or her or this thing or this situation, the consequences of the answer are particularly high and raise our sense of vulnerability, raise our sense of having to face consequences that are less than ideal. In fact, might even be challenging thanks to Saturn speaking with Venus as well. It's almost as if it could feel like there is some mountain to climb if we were truly to be honest with ourselves with the answer. Do I truly love him or her or it or this situation or where I am right now in my life? Because if we answer that question honestly, it means that we also have to take ownership for the change that we wish to experience. That can be tough, especially when we don't necessarily know if by answering the question, we actually, by taking ownership, are actually going to end up with the answer we truly desire. That's where faith comes in, and that's a big part of what Saturn can be about as well. That's a big part of what Venus moving through Pisces can be about as well. It's about understanding that there are a lot of times in life where, and a lot of times when faith is defined as not necessarily knowing the outcome, but knowing that you are going to trust anyways. You're going to do your best. You're going to surrender the rest. You're going to trust what you feel, even if what you have felt has led you down pathways and led you down roads that maybe haven't always worked out so well, right? That's part of gaining experience. That's part of being human. That's part of walking in this earthly incarnation. You're going to do things sometimes that don't always work out exactly textbook perfect, but that is part of living. And yet we do it anyways. And yet to have faith anyways that you are going to be okay and you are going to move towards greater love. Wisdom can be hard earned, and sometimes wisdom, as much as we want it, at the same time, we earn it in ways that come about through pain, right? There's no other way to put it. And we try to avoid pain. It's natural. We're human beings. We want love. We want pleasure. We associate love and pleasure. But sometimes Love isn't always pleasure. Where is it that we create situations that we mix love and pain together, where it doesn't have to be that way? Or where is it that we've put love and pain together where really it should be that we should be pursuing pleasure? There's wisdom to be able to garner the differences, to be able to be wise with distinguishing where is love healthy, where is it challenging us in a way that isn't painful, unnecessarily painful. That is part of how our current sky is asking us to be honest with ourselves. Whether it is a romantic situation that this love is calling forth in us, whether it is a situation that is related to our work, related to our understanding of service, understanding of life purpose, understanding of our role as parent, wherever it is that we are asked to bring heart, wherever it is that we are asked to bring love now, where is it that we are creating unnecessary pain for ourselves, and where is it instead that we can bring reverence and service and faith and gratitude? Where is it that we can change things? Where is it that we can reject unnecessary pain and instead embrace challenges that are healthy, that make us stronger? Where is it that we can recognize that we are creating pain needlessly where there actually is a lot of love and a lot of safety and a lot of beauty right where we are? Where are we contributing to our own drama? And where is it that we need to let the drama go by letting a particular situation go and embracing love for self, embracing a more sane and peaceful life and all the joy that that entails right here, right now, today? These are part of the choices, and look, they're not easy choices to make, especially if we've been in certain patterns for a really long time. Remember, this Venus retrograde season is far from over, okay? We are right now with Venus comfortably in the sign of Pisces, and in the sign of Pisces, it's these questions that come up. It's an element of sacrifice that will come up as well. Love is sacrifice where it comes to Venus and Pisces, and this is amplified with Venus so close to Chiron. But eventually, while Venus is still in shadow and still in her retrograde season, she will move into Aries. And Venus in Aries is not so much about sacrifice, but about passion. This week we get to glimpse some of that passion thanks to Venus speaking with Mars. Venus speaking with Mars early this week is going to allow us to see how we can actually cultivate passion. We can cultivate a sense of trusting our instincts and going with it and jumping in where maybe we don't necessarily know everything or necessarily have all the facts, but we're excited about what could be. We're trusting our instincts to lead us to joy, to lead us to fun, even if there's no guarantee of either. We're going to trust that life will take us there, because that's part of being alive. Part of being alive is to have joy. And sometimes joy means, and the promise of joy means that, yeah, there might be some disappointment. Sometimes you'll love and you'll love fully and it might not work out, but there was still joy there. There was still something really beautiful there, something that you wouldn't trade for the world. Well, Venus speaking with Mars will help us to appreciate where that has been and help us to be open to the possibility that we would take that chance again. Because eventually, and I'll be here to talk about it when we get there, eventually Venus, still in shadow, will move into Mars, or will move into Aries rather, and will give us that lesson all over again. But this week, Venus will be hanging tight that conversation with Saturn. As I said, it's more about being aware of the limitations. It's more about being smart. And it's more about knowing that smarts, well, sometimes smarts is overrated. And sometimes we can challenge smart and move beyond it. And instead, sometimes we can know that we can be smart today, knowing in the back of our mind that the time will come to be silly. And silly has its own wisdom as well, has great wisdom for that matter. And we'll have some of the glimpses of that for sure. That is because other stuff is happening in the sky this week as well that I'm super excited about. Well, let's say the energy this week is all about change. It's all about shifting. The energy is shifting. We're feeling that right out of the gate, not only with that Venus, but also the Sun moving into the sign of Taurus. So happy birthday month to all the Taurians out there. I'm sending lots of love to the Taurians out there. What we also have happening is Mercury, while retrograde, will retrograde back into the sign of Aries. And while the Sun moves into Taurus and Mercury retrogrades back into Aries, these two planets are going to meet in the sky, sort of crisscross meet in the sky and change signs. So this is going to be a very powerful movement. But the thing is, you see, with Mercury still retrograde, it's not necessarily a time to be like jumping in all new directions just because Venus is direct. Certainly not for a whole lot of us out there. So if you need time, if you don't necessarily feel ready to be all systems go and to make some sort of huge life-altering changes just yet, if you're feeling that conversation between Venus and Saturn and you're feeling a sense of wanting to be a little bit measured in your responses, that's okay. Trust that. You know, there are a lot of good things about being a grown-up. There are a lot of really great things about thinking through your options and making a choice when you know what it is that you really want to do and not a moment sooner. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, that is something that we sometimes don't celebrate nearly enough. And I'm going to celebrate that with you right now. And especially with Mercury retrograde right now, chances are more information still is going to come through. And chances are a little bit of contemplation is probably a really good idea. So Mercury's going to retro into the sign of Aries, giving us a chance to really consider and think about what we really, really want and what would really be fun for us, what would really be joyous, what would really bring us joy. What is it that we truly want in our most innocent selves? What we also have happening this week that I'm super excited about is that Mars will change signs and move into the sign of Gemini. Now, what this means is that Mercury and Mars are going to be in what is called mutual reception. So for the astrology students out there, mutual reception essentially is that these two signs are going to host each other's planets. So Mercury is the ruling planet of Gemini and Mars is the ruling planet of Aries, and they will be hosting each other's planets. So Mars will be in Gemini, Mercury will be in Aries. So there's this natural flow of energy taking place between these two planets. And essentially what this says to me is that mind connection that I spoke about last week, that heart-mind connection. This week, it's not just about heart and mind, which is going to be very lit up, but it's also about passion. It's also about instinct. It's also about intensity. It's also about connecting to something deep within, something that has us deciding for ourselves what we truly want on a level of drive and on a level of desire that reaches right to the heart and soul of us. This is incredibly powerful. The other really big and exciting news this week, I mean, talk about power, talk about the universe really wanting to help us to understand who we are and what we really want and how we're going to really create powerful change in our lives. Pluto goes retro this week. Pluto will go retro as we move towards the end of the week. And as this connection with Venus and Saturn perfects for the last time, it is going to be Pluto that goes retrograde. Pluto will be standing still throughout the week and then go backwards in the sky for a nice long time throughout the summer. And as I look at this, I think to myself that this is going to be a time when all of us in some way are going to be contemplating meaningful change and what it means to be the change, what it means to actually take that energy of transformation and turn it inwards. It's one thing to consider what we love and why we love it. It's one thing to consider where it is that meaningful healing needs to happen if we're going to experience more love in our lives. It's another thing to truly transform, to become something else and to become something more. Pluto going retro now is going to help us in this very endeavor, is going to bring a powerful focus and a powerful motive behind the work that we are doing now. It is the work of love. It is the work of great love to be willing to live true to yourself and true to your heart and be willing to align mind, body, soul, and love. It is the work of a lifetime, sure, but it is right about now that we take leaps and bounds forward in this very aim. And for some of us, it is a time that we will remember for a very long time to come. Well, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, thumbs up. And if you would like to know how this wonderful sky speaks to you in your sign, please do log on to nadiyashah.com or astrofabulous.com. Sign up, become one of my superstars, and you will have instant access, immediate access right away to the weekly video scopes looking at the week ahead for your sign. So you can get access to this week and last week as well. Last week I spoke at length for the full moon that happened, that highlighted a lot of these lessons for all of us in terms of the Venus retrograde season. And this week again, I speak about it for each and every sign. Per sign, I record a video, just like the monthly videos that you see on my YouTube channel. Well, you get a video just like that each and every week for your sign. And this week, I talk all about this amazing sky and all this stuff happening now. It truly is a very powerful time. And this Venus retrograde season is the kind of time that will stand out for a whole lot of us, not just in terms of this month, but really, I do believe when we reflect back on this year, it is going to be this time frame that stands out as a real turning point for when meaningful change happened and when we truly came to understand what love was going to mean for us that much more deeply in a way that defined 2017 and beyond. So I talk about this and a lot more for each and every sign. Again, it's at nadiyashah.com and astrofabulous.com as well. Become a superstar. I love my superstars. Thank you so much to all the new superstars who join each and every day. I love you guys so much. And I love you guys for being here right now as a fabulous friend and fan. Thank you so much. I also want to say thank you so much to my fabulous students at synchronicityuniversity.com. You can get instant access right now, instant access to full webinar classes, each over 2 hours long. You can get instant access to classes that I taught on subjects chosen by you. There are some 14 classes there, and those topics were chosen by you guys, some of the most popular topics that I am asked, astrology lessons by you guys, topics chosen by you, and all of those were taught live, interactive classes, and it was such a privilege, such a pleasure, and so much fun. Over 2 hours of learning each and every class. So you can get instant access, instant video downloads, and I hope that you absolutely enjoy them. And you can log on to synchronicityuniversity.com and get instant access to those classes right now. Well, thank you so much for watching. Once again, my heart is full of gratitude for this moment with you. Thank you. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.